So I'm going to run through a scenario, and there's going to be, and then you're going to have to act on that scenario, and then there'll be a few things that will be added in, blah blah blah. You know the drill. Okay. So it is 4:30 p.m. and you are a parent. Your child is home from school and wants a story to be read to him. He knows which story he wants to read, and he approaches you with that story.
Okay.
Daddy, I want to read the story.
Got it.
Okay, so firstly you open the application and set the dome up for that story your child has just handed to you.
Okay.
So just say you've opened the app, that's a loading screen, so just starting. So this is the first page you are
Okay.
dealt with.
So it's 4:30.
4:30.
There. Yeah. So it's 4:30. So I would automatically click daytime because it's 4:30. It's still
Oh,
in
that's
the
the
day.
thing, yeah. Speak through everything that you're thinking. Okay, that's fine.
So yeah, because it's still in the day. 4:30. It'll still be like outside. So I'd assume daytime. It's
Yep.
not yet.
And that takes us there.
Because I've got the book with me, and the book has been given to me. I would scan for a book.
Okay.
So I click scan. So then I would get the book, and I would, with the barcode on the back, use this to scan said barcode.
Beep.
Then that's me. That would be obviously the image
Yep.
of the book. Know that they're the same. I just check it quickly just to make sure it's definitely the same, and then I click tick.
Okay.
I'd say here I would wait until I was settled and ready in the dome,
Okay.
completely like asthma the child here, but there's no kind of, to me on this page right now, I wouldn't call it activate
Okay.
personally, because activate to me sounds like you're going to click it and something's going to happen straight away and it's all going to kick off and you've got to be like ready to go. I would probably put something like begin maybe, or begin the story, or
So I suppose what I was thinking is activate doesn't necessarily mean start, it means just turn the dome on. And then the next screen would be, so the dome doesn't even start doing anything until your
Yeah.
voice starts reading. But
Okay.
I guess they don't know that. You
yeah. Activate. If it's when the dome comes on then and starts listening, maybe you have telling them and being quite clear that the dome is now listening to
Dome
them.
is okay, yeah, I think that's good.
That's kind of like a good point, like clarity of information, because it's in a way it's recording them, but it's not.
So it's like the dome is now listening and ready for you to start. Or
Yeah.
something.
That's, or like even just like a go thing, and it just like has a little like a big green button that says like go, and then like something along the top that just says that explains what's going to happen.
Okay, that makes
do
sense.
with
So a bit more words.
A bit more words and a bit more maybe visual with that it's now listening to you, like a little microphone symbol or something, like
Okay, yeah, I
you
like
know
that.
like the Android app that you were using had that little microphone kind of thing. When you clicked it, it was then listening to you and then it stopped.
It could almost do it so as you speak, you see like a thing pulsate to the thing in your voice.
Yeah.
Pulsates to voice. So it just knows, you just know
It
it's
knows
listening.
that it's listening to you now.
So what do you think that one means?
I'd say one means page one.
Okay, that's right. Well, the idea of that actually is it's the amount of times you read the book.
Okay.
I mean, that's not clear straight away, but I think maybe after you've read it more
Yeah.
than once, Will said a thing where you kind of have like a scale or something that moves, or when you go on it the second time, it clicks from a 1 to a 2, so you can kind of see
You
that.
could visually represent that with a pile of books.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be at the bottom, it could be at the side next to it, and it just kind of says, like, that kind of indicates how many times you've read it going up the side, and then it could kind of prompt the parent to try and get them to read something else.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
If they've read it maybe 20 times, or they've read it 10 times that week.
Yep.
It could be like, oh, why don't you try this, or recommend similar.
Okay, yeah. That's cool.
Like obviously it's going to be linked to a large book library. Then, yeah.
So it would also show like the themes of the story.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to be learned.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff.
So like with this one, obviously it's going to be like learning about yourself and
Self-belief.
yeah.
Okay, so you would click the activate button, and then dome would go, or something would light up.
Yeah, an indication of that it's like ready.
That the
like
dome's recognised.
Yeah, that it's even just like a quick circle. Like the dome could do a quick like circle around them.
Yeah.
So like a light,
Circular.
like a green light,
Like a specific light pattern
Yeah.
for when it's doing
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
like a green light that goes all the way around once, and it's just like it like kind of like it feels like it's encapsulated them in, and then it like you feel very immersed.
No, that's cool. Okay, so then you would go onto something like that
And then I'd open the book.
and start reading.
Again.
What do you think that circle is at the bottom?
That indicates to me time straight away.
So
So as I'm reading and going through the book, I'd imagine that circle will slowly show, like, indicate
where you are in the
the
story.
red line will start going round as I go through, and then when I stop, that'll stop as well. One like indication with that. Obviously, it might look a lot better when it's actually happening in action, but there you could use like a stopwatch that fills up as it goes round. So a stopwatch that's white, and then as it goes round, like one of the you can have a hand that goes round on the stopwatch, no numbers on it, just it. As the hand goes round, the bit that was it's left is red, so it goes round and starts filling it up with red.
Okay.
The same way that is that, like just a different, just to make sure it's really clear that it's time.
No, that makes sense. Okay, perfect. How can you tell from that page there that you're still in day mode?
The little sun at the top.
Okay, so you're in there, so you realise that the dome is too bright and it's too loud. Change the volume and change the brightness.
So if I want to change the volume, I'd automatically think settings, so I click on the settings. And then they're really simple sliders, obviously. So volume I'd drag down and the brightness I'd drag down to whatever felt right.
How would you think of getting rid of that now?
Getting rid of
The setting screen.
Me personally, I would click the settings thing again. Just because the back button has been on all the other screens, and this is obviously a pop out on top of that.
Well, that's a good point. I didn't think about that because they might think of clicking that back button. Okay.
So if you like to think that the pop-up should cover the whole screen and the rest of the screen should be faded out.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
right. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that would automatically make me click there again, because if that's faded out, I know I can't then click it. One thing, obviously, the brightness and the volume go as you do it. I think you need to be as you're doing the brightness one, the lights need to be on and going up and down. Is what I'd say, and the same with the volume. You need,
Lights need to be.
like, you know, with your phone when you turn it up, it like goes like.
Makes a ding.
Yeah.
Light needs to be on when adjusting.
Because otherwise you're turning the brightness down, but you can turn it down too far if you can't really tell.
No, that makes sense. Okay. Right. Okay. So they've finished now, so we'll get rid of this. So you finished reading, and as soon as the story's over, you would be wanting to do this. So this would come up. So this, at this point, I'm more telling you. It's not,
Yeah.
and you can give me feedback on what you think could be improved. But so this is the idea. Once they finish the story, they're given 3 discussion questions that record what they're saying for each.
Yeah.
So this is the after show number 1. That would be the question. You can see that it's 1 of 3. You can see that it's recording. This is going to need a bit more thought because I haven't actually thought this through yet. But like that. Then you would, once that one's done, I haven't thought about this yet, but you would either, the parent would maybe click a button to say that they finished recording, and then a tick would come up, and we would go to question 2, which is the same like that.
And then
Douche, and then douche, and then douche.
yeah.
Any kind of initial thoughts on that?
Maybe link the questions to the story, so have references to the story in it.
Some of them do. It's hard to
so
like.
maybe
if you'd have read this story, you'd know that like it's to do with like people being nice. What they are. That's thought about a little bit.
work. Like you could actually reference who was nice in the story.
Okay.
So obviously in this story, it's the cricket tells him that he can do what he wants, kind of thing, and dance how he wants. He's just got to find the right song. So you could be like, what's the nicest thing you've ever done to anyone, like the cricket did for Gerald or something
Okay.
like that.
Always relate back to. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you think of the idea of? So the more times you read it, the more deep the questions get. So
Yeah,
it might
like
start off with something like, "What's your favourite animal?" Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And then by the end, it's like, "What is the meaning of life?" Not that
no,
far, but like,
yeah, I like that. So with this one, you could have like, what's your favourite animal from the story, or what's your favourite animal, something about dancing, and then you can move on to, after reading it maybe 5 times, you can start moving on to things to do with self-belief.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I like that. That's it. That's a good idea.
Okay, we're nearly done. Okay, so your child says that he's got a new favourite book at school. How would you check that this application has that book? Maybe from where you are now. But no, actually, it'd say as soon as this is done, you would go back to the home screen anyway. It would send you right back, so you'd be here.
Okay, so if I wanted to check that, if you told me
To say the book
any
is, so for the purpose of this, say you haven't read this before and you're searching for this book.
yeah, I would click search. Then obviously I would type in the
Title, whatever.
title of the book. And then obviously here you can see it look like a library. And then
So after talking to Will about that, you obviously wouldn't be able to read. You can't read it until you've scanned a book. You need a physical book in order for the whole thing to work. So that might pop up and say, okay, this is the book. If you don't have it, this is where you can buy it from Amazon. This is the library that's closest to you that has it to rent or whatever. So things like that.
yeah, I like that.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, if you were there, how would you now change it to night mode?
On this page,
Yep. What would you do? Where would you go? What would your first?
my first instinct would be settings, but I know that that's just to do with brightness and
Okay, that's a bad example then. Yeah, because settings at the moment doesn't really have anything in it.
yeah.
So let's just go quickly to here.
So if I was here and then I wanted to go to night mode, I'd just click on the sun.
Oh, you click on the sun. Oh, that's a good point there. That's
And then I'd expect it to come up with the choices again. So the sun would like grow it, like zoom back down to there, and then
You'd have the 2 options again.
2 options
Well, at the
again.
moment, that's not actually what it is. You would click that
Click back
out,
from the home page.
But you would click the sun. Okay. And last one. Okay. So from here, I want you to open a memory from the 18th of February, 2019, from the book Where the Wild Things Are.
Okay. So, because I know that this is like I know what the other ones to do, I would click this one.
But what does that look at like?
To me, that looks like little photos.
Okay, but it doesn't make sense for it to be photos because they're not photos. So it would have to be something like a microphone or some sort of recording thing, like a voice memo.
Yeah, maybe that or a calendar, because if you're going by date a lot, a calendar's a good one.
Okay, so you would click on...
Yeah, click here. And then we've got memories.
What do the 5 and the 1 mean?
I'm assuming I've read this one, so I've read this 5 times.
Yeah, I suppose I've written that there as well.
I would have more of a scale with this as well. So I would probably, again, try and use like the book thing, but instead of them being a stack of books, it could be like a library of books, like a... just with the number 1 on and then number 2 when you get 2.
Yeah, I like that.
For Where the Wild Things Are, so I click on that. And then it was the 18th
Yeah,
of February 2019 that you wanted.
yeah.
So I click on that. What did you want next?
Oh, just click on a memory. So you.
Oh, so a memory. So you've got your
that
three.
you understand that those 3 are
the
related
answers
to the 3 questions that were
yeah,
asked.
yeah. So if I wanted to do your best Wild Thing impression, I'd click that, and I'd expect it to, play the
Something
little
like that.
recording. Yeah.
So that kind of makes sense. I think that just needs maybe a bit of graphic work to.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, it does make sense. It like there's the right things on there.
Okay, and then lastly, just any other comments or anything that.
I'd say when the after show part,
Yep.
when you're asking the questions and stuff, because if you're still going to be in the dome at this point.
Oh, I forgot to mention that would. So these words would be spoken out from the dome. So this only comes up on the parents. So that in a way, the child never sees the phone.
Yeah.
So this would come. This is almost like just a cue for the parent. But those exact words are spoken, and that's what causes the conversation.
The lights then become redundant for that part.
Yeah.
So I'd say if you could work the lights into the after show in some way, either look at light patterns that can, or colours that can stimulate relaxation or conversation. So it creates like a nice environment for
That's cool.
the child, even if it's just like 4 of the LEDs are lit up like green, just to create like a little effect. And when it goes to question 2, they change to blue.
What do you think of the idea of the lights pulsating to their voice as they're speaking in that part? Is that too much?
I think that might be too much because it's quite immersive, so it's going to be all round them.
Yeah, too much for voice sensitive.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's everything. Does it sound like it's kind of nearly there? In the right
Yeah,
direction?
I think with the app you've got all the right
Things.
parts. It's just a few things probably need.
What would you have said is in that settings section? Or if I covered everything, do I need that?
So brightness, sound.
I reckon maybe it's more of a like permanent settings.
Maybe you have settings for. You could split it into settings for the app and settings for the dome.
Yeah.
Because obviously with the app, you wouldn't want the app to be. Because you can have like night. Obviously, you've got like night mode on Twitter and stuff like that. If the parent needs this app on, and it's quite bright in the corner,
Yeah.
but they don't want to turn the brightness of their phone down, turn it to night mode so it's a bit duller.
I was thinking that when they put it in night mode, it automatically changes it on that. And it would be that the back screen is black, not white, so it would be very distinct, and you'd have a moon up there instead of a sun.
Maybe other things in settings to do with sizing of fonts and stuff like that on the actual app.
Okay.
So you know your like library page where you've got all the different books.
Yeah.
Some people might want, you can have settings to change that from like 4 on a row to 2 on a row for people.
No, that makes sense. They do that in the iBooks and stuff, don't
Yeah. Text size.
they? Yeah. Okay, so there is maybe the need a little bit for the
Yeah,
settings.
maybe look at other apps and see what settings they have just for general app settings, because there could be a few that you. Because in settings a lot as well, they have like the about and the
Okay,
stuff
yeah,
like
right.
that.
So just like more kind of
Just general
information.
Yeah, that on. But yeah, the dome. I don't think you need more. The brightness of the LEDs and the volume of the speakers in it. I don't think there's
not much more in it then.
not much more in it now, because all the other part is just the.
Oh, there needs to be a method of connecting the phone
Yeah.
to the dome, like the way we did it with that light.
Yeah,
might-
that could be.
So the whole like syncing. So
Yeah.
you have to. The dome's going to have Bluetooth in it. So
Maybe like the first when you first load the app up, it automatically takes you to a page, and you can't progress until you've connected it. Like, like when you set up a new iPhone,
yeah, okay, yeah.
you automatically have to do all that setup part.
And if the Bluetooth isn't turned on for the 10 at the beginning,
Yeah.
every time you open it, it
Yeah.
forces you need
Yeah.
to do that to get to the next part.
Or yeah, it could, yeah,
I didn't think about that.
because you've also got the fact that other like parents might have different phones as well.
Yeah. That could be, yeah, that definitely needs to be somewhere. So maybe there needs to be a signal as well that shows that you're connected to the dome at all time, like a little symbol or something.
Yeah.
And then you can go in here and then change it for the Bluetooth settings and whatnot. Perfect. Thank you very much.